Hello everyone, welcome once again to Care of Youth of the CAV. We continue from where we left on work-life integration or work-life balance, as you could call it kindly. Keep subscribing, like our pages. Let's share what you feel about the conversation by dropping your comments below, and let's keep this discussion and all this conversation going. Welcome back. And is there a discussion prior to determination of what is supposed to be there at the workplace? Of course, I know with the policy, it is stipulated, well, this has to be here, a mother's room, all those things. But usually there's supposed to be a discussion, like someone can ask your view, like, Rosalyn, what do you think about this particular area, this particular area?
It's supposed to be an inclusive discussion that brings on board the employer, the employee, so that it's not the boss making a decision that maybe favors them or is not favoring the other party. So I strongly believe it should be an all-inclusive discussion. Then I think that's where now the welfare office comes in. We should have a strong welfare office that is looking into the matters of the workers at the workplace. And then that is where Madam Eva comes in. There should be also a very strong working wellness office, because matters that come with work-life balance, there's a lot of also wellness issues that comes with them. And I always say that in any workplace, there should be a functioning wellness office and a functioning welfare office. Those two, very important.
Welfare, wellness.
Yeah.
Welfare. What is the difference? Welfare
has to do with and into what Rosalyn has spoken about and what you asked. The workplaces are different. There is no manuscript for this is the ideal integrated workplace. It's work in progress. What I have seen in the course of this wellness space or in support of institutions, it's the ability or the willingness of institutions to make the workplace a better environment. For me, I give tips, easy things that employees can do within the workplace. If you feel very stressed, or within the day, if you work between 8 to 5, ensure at least you wake up 3 times. Take a break, go fetch water, go look at outside. If you're able to take your lunch outside your desk, work-life integration does not have to be expensive, does not have to be very complex, but there are those small things. We have people who do prayers in the morning. They have a prayer day that actually fulfills now the spiritual needs of the employees. So where I worked previously, on Wednesdays, this was a prayer day. And people now felt that their prayer, and even lunchtime, some people during the Lent season for Catholic, people would go for, there was the space to be able to thrive in that. And now this is not even in the policy. That's why we said some of these things are at a personal level, or as a group, we decide this can work for us. Some organizations have extreme work-life integration, as in it's deliberate, they have a budget for that. I could mention the Microsoft, a company in Westlands. They have even competitions, how many steps one makes, and they've invested, the company has invested in a smartwatch. The one who does the highest, so during lunchtime you'll see people walking down, and because also many times you're sitting just within our desk for too long. So this as a company now, it will be able to motivate with an award for the person that will be able to do the highest. We have even some organization who organize hike even to Mount Kenya, and they invest millions into that. But we are saying even if you don't have a budget, small things like celebrating a birthday, you know, the quarter birthday babies with a cake of even 2,000, an organization can afford that, because that also shows some of us, we never celebrated our birthdays. So so this avenue is what is now making me think my organization is not about what I'm working or what I'm giving them. They even doing baby, we have organization that does baby shower. When you deliver, if you've lost someone, they're there with you. So all those components away from work is what actually makes now someone feel the need to work there. One of the character, I tell workplace or employers, if you'd love to know that you have work-life integration, just look at the exits. You know, the what are they called? The employees leaving the organization.
The employee turnover.
I worked in a place where for 3 years no one left. But even for me leaving the place, I think I was crazy. Because it had everything you needed. Even when you go on leave, you're given a leave allowance, you're given the 13th salary. In April, would go for hike. Those a lot more than the work. And apparently this contributed now for us being able to deliver on our work, because we never thought about work every time.
There is also something Roslyn said about like getting to the office whatever time you're getting, but 8 hours later you're still on your desk. And I'm also thinking, does it have to does it have to do with even the skills, for example? Because there's someone who would be given a task, and by 1 hour they're done, but there's someone who would go around in circles doing and doing,
and they're feeling overworked.
Yeah, and imagine you have a deadline to submit a certain report.
I love working with deadlines.
No, I'm asking. There's also that aspect. Is it about, again, skills? Even the you know, the capabilities of those people who are working there? I think also training, because there's someone who will do a certain task, 1 hour they are done. They'll be able to go take their tea wherever and come back. But there's that person atashinda pale. Even justification of a document, again, it's a problem. It will take them like
it's a combination of what we've spoken about, the skill set, the interests, but also some of us are within the workplace. You applied for a job because you needed a job. At that moment, that is what you have. But it's not your passion, it's not your interest, you're detached.
Others were given.
Others were given.
Given jobs.
Yeah, come, I fix you here.
You're fixed somewhere.
Yes, and now that is why we are saying you cannot have work-life balance from January to December. At times you will find Roslyn's work is pegged on your work. So for you, your document unakaa ukiformat for 2 hours, it's delaying her work. So once in a while, she will be stuck in the office awaiting your work. And that's why we say within work, you cannot work in silos. We need to know who is doing what, at what point do you check so that Roslyn does not delay you. So it has to be a personal responsibility. Many of us actually, we are delegation thieves. I will delegate, I'll realize you're taking 2 hours.
Roslyn delegation thieves.
You realize you're taking too long, so I will keep on getting this work. Now, where you're seated, you're okay. You take the work. See, I'm getting the salary at the end of the month. So you'll have someone within an organization. I'll share with you an article where someone said, we have very smart people within the organization. Apparently, they tend to be misused.
Yeah, because you'll be picked to do this task.
Yes.
This task.
Okay, Roslyn,
you have suffered in this workspace.
I also worked in an organization where someone said, kuna employee wa CSR. As in wanasaidiwa. So, the people who are very good in their work are actually the one must uplift the CSR. Because they'll not employ 10 admins. They'll employ 2. So, mwenye CSR atafanyiwa kazi na. So those are the dynamics within the workplace. But what we are saying, bare minimum, the wheel of life, from love, from going back to school, from social life, from health, from the work itself, that the wheel rotates. So at one point, you're probably...
By wheel, you mean gurudumu?
Yeah, gurudumu, the wheel of life, the wheel.
I know Pauline was thinking wheel.
No, see there I'm silent like this. Nilikuwa nisha, si amesema ina rotate. Okay. So anatumia jina yangu.
To have a rough figure about work-life integration is that wheel of life. At the moment, if I would ask you, you have love, intimate relationship, your career, amongst the three, what's your priority now? And spiritual matter, 4. Hata singeka spiritual matter.
Sipendi vile mnaniangalia.
Between the 4, at the moment, now here, what's your priority? Love, intimate relationship, work and spiritual life. What would you give your resources? Yes.
Work, spirituality, love, intimacy, hata sijui kama tuko hapo.
So you need to be honest on this, Rose.
It's okay. So the wheel of life.
Are you me?
The wheel of life. We encourage workers to continuously spin their wheel.
Oh, so that is not
to be at the point where their needs are at that particular point. Like for me, currently I'm back to school. So my in terms of education, my career progression, that is where my energy is. Up on your wheel. Yeah, and also I'm sharing also a lot with intimate and love because I'm struggling in those areas. So
is it my head? Sorry.
So the wheel of life means there are times as a worker where you'll give your more energies to your work. Like Pauline, now that's her priority number 1, probably from what she said. You know, the transfer, new office, what is expected of you, you need to align, realign and learn.
I'm trying to build a brand.
So just being aware that we are not all equal. Hata nikiona Pauline akibaki job, si lazima nibaki, ati so that I look like I am the one working as Pauline. Probably at that point, as some people even are left at work doing online classes. No, unabaki hapo tu TikTok. Badala uende nyumbani. So the wheel of life is personal. So once in a, it has nine quadrants. That once in a while you go through and realize, what are my struggles? Do I need more resources in terms of time, money to invest in maybe going back to school? Do I need more resources to know my work so that I finish my task on time? So what is it in this wheel of life?
Okay, as we wrap up, I would like us to look at the roles here. Yeah, it's personal, yes, but we are all here. I don't know how we can look at it. We are all here. We have both the worker, both the employer, and we said employee, the worker, the employer. We all have roles to ensure that our life is well integrated. But who has the biggest role here? Who has the biggest role? Roslyn, what do you think?
The employer. The employee, sorry.
The employer.
The employee.
What would be the... Okay. I know if I say the employer has a big part, you will not agree with me as usual.
Yeah, what the employer can do, the employer can facilitate.
Yeah.
Like what we do with some organization, we help the employer come up with a calendar of events away from work. Because if the HR says, Friday tutakata keki ya Pauline, most people will come. But Pauline has no authority kukuja na keki yake aseme. So the employer can facilitate some activity, but the employee can do things even outside those activities. If I go home and decide over the weekend I sleep, or I go swimming, or I go meeting the two of you, that is so personal that does not have to be dictated by my employer. But within the work environment, the employer has the mandate to facilitate in terms of resources, time, and even come up with a calendar of events that people know in April we'll go to hike, we'll go tree planting, we will, so that people also plug in.
Yeah, I also think everybody has their role. As Eva is saying, the employer has a role of facilitating some of these things, say encourage the employers to eat healthy, to take classes, take them for team buildings, organize or the two small things, the two awards, to appreciate
The
them.
birthdays.
The birthdays. So that is the role of the employer, and then the employee also has their role in this. For example, you're supposed to know that you're not the donkey of the workplace. Whether you are there or not,
Work
work
will
will
be
still.
done.
But do you just know? Naona a disconnect of wanting not to be a donkey. Like sometime during the week you'd feel like this is getting too much. And you see, not all bosses are like now Evas, the way the boss would ask, what is the emergency here? There are some other bosses, they would want to see you there. Like if he leaves at 6.
There's a job description, of course, you are given when you went to that work. Of course, that tells you what you're supposed to do, and then of course there's that any other duty. So wewe ndio unajua where these any other can reach. As long as it's in the time frames 8 to 5, that's okay. But constantly asking me to work after 5, I won't take it.
But you also need to communicate that to your boss, because some of us, what happens, we form a culture by accepting, taking in everything.
Once in a while is okay, but every day.
You let the boss know, I have a child to go and check, or I'm going back to school, or I feel now this work we need to sit and restructure and see what are the needs are. But because at times maybe ni wewe pia you're not at speed with your boss. So anaona huyu lazima ni mhold hapa because at the rate that they are doing the work is,
and then
the clash.
Na kuna the learning phase within workplace. When someone gets into a new job or new position, kuna hiyo lazima usweat, as in you work, you put in time, resources to be able to align and to settle in. That is okay and normal. But it cannot be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, ukitoka 9, ukitoka 10. Even the watchman can tell you, wewe umetoka. Huyu anakuanga hapa every day, but and you're like, it's become now a norm.
And then there are some other habits that people do, and I wonder why. You know, me in my lifetime, Roslyn Andika, I've never carried work home. Why am I carrying work home?
I have. My God, I have even slept on the sofa.
Even if I have, I'd rather come early and do it than carry work home.
I have.
Because once I'm out of the office, I'm going home. That's now my time with my family. When will I ever have time with my babies if I'm constantly carrying work home?
So now in a situation, I'm looking at, we've just come from talking about these generations. Like the Gen X and the Gen Z, they will always clash. And even us millennials and some others. Do you realize there are people who think like it has to be work? It's like there are some people who think, there are some, for example, men, they would always want to push ile narrative like, I have to work, even when the wife complains, you're never home, the answer will always be, I have to work to provide for you.
But you see,
people.
one part is losing. Because that's why we say, where are we hitting the balance? Because, okay, you have to work. Your family is losing out.
But how do we get these people to come back?
And also, is it really work or someone is running? Because I know, at times when people go through loss or have conflict at home, workplace becomes the solace, the safe space. I know of someone who could not go, who had to spend in the office until 10, because Shylock alikuwa anamgoja hapo chini. They had a date where the Shylock would come and wait, and until watchman amwambia ameenda. And you see these debt collectors are also very crude,
mannerless.
so are people running away? Because also when people talk when people talk about work, what is it that you're doing? Because also utapata mtu ametoka kwa ofisi amefanya job, but amenda in another meeting to do now the side hustle.
Yeah, side hustle.
Do it. But also now affect your personal life. Back at home, your kids go to sleep. I have been there and I have done all that. But for me, when someone says they're overworked, what is it that they're doing in the office? What are they also running away from? We've had even people who've lost, like women who've gone through miscarriage. They want just to come back to work. People who've lost loved ones. They feel work is where they are seeing Roslyn. They are not alone. So what phase is it that people are going through that they feel they need to be at work? When I am conflict, I have conflict at my house, I can assure you sitafika mapema. I'll call Pauline, where are we? Can we go? But all this is not work. Yeah. It's just running away from things, but pegging it on work.
And then also, I think we had discussed it before. I don't know which topic we were handling when we were saying that as a worker, always find a way of unwinding from a busy schedule every day.
It was on wellness.
On wellness.
Wellness.
Because if I tell you how I unwind every day, you laugh. Maybe I love that 7:30 program on eCitizen. Currently they are doing Neema. I love those two programs. When I watch that program, I'm home.
You're good.
Which
is part of work-life integration.
Yeah.
Yeah. We even have, we had a place where I worked where there was this, even one of our clients had a punching room. Where this, yes,
nice. I have done
yes, so you go, if you feel if you feel like you want to badala ya kuslap Pauline, you go into the punch room and you punch. Others have therapeutic. Others, like KCB Bank has a gym, so employee go very early, they go to the gym, then change, they go to work, which now emotionally, physically you also have avenues. And that this specific company where there is a punching, you'd punch, then there is a massage seat. You sit after you punch, or you just go straight to the massage seat, and you have up to 1 hour to be able to just have a nap. And by the time you go back to your desk, so some of these things can even be within the workplaces, activities that people feel can cause, we are either stressed or more stressed.
Wow. I think we all need to stop there because of the time. But what I'm seeing from all this, the wellness programs at work, the wellness department has to be active. Very active for us to actually very functional.
That have those offices, but they're not functional. You never find the
and intentional.
Actually functional and very intentional to be able to achieve this. Even what we are talking about, the unlearning and learning, it takes a lot of effort, but also needs someone to champion that.
And then also discipline from your part.
Yeah.
Because if you've said you are making a personal initiative.
Other than the conscious decision, again now at the workplace now space, that particular department has to be very functional.
And it will save actually the organization a lot of funds, because many people now currently are very depressed, but you'll find those activities are also very stress relieving. We used to play basketball every Friday of the end month, and you see it also gives the team cohesion, because many times at workplace people also fight, but kama tunaenda kucheza basketball, we'll talk, people become easy at each other. Some organizations have end of year party, you know, quarterly meetings where people just go and unwind. We established a Kikao at Kenya School of Government. Kikao is where as peers we can sit and tell you, well, Pauline, I sent you an email, you know, where you said the way things are and you debrief.
Yeah,
so it doesn't have to be at those big things. It's what works for the employees. And the employees are very innovative in terms of even coming up with ideas. And why when you consider the ideas, they will do them because they own them. They will actually be the first ones. The Kikao within Kenya School of Government, every end month they are seated, whether they have a facilitator or not.
Yes.
Watajongelesha wao wenyewe. By the time someone is going home, they are feeling better. They are able to be productive the following day. They propose things. They've even been able to have. They realized that one of the struggles they had was a lot of kuchanga kwa sababu ya matanga. So they got an insurance for that. So it also helps the social aspect of the employees. And while work-life integration is important, is we spend 80% of our time within the workplace.
We also have a similar activity where we just sit around. We have a round, not formal, it's not a table, we just sit around, we put chairs around. Then we play games, like we'll pass papers. In that paper, let's say somebody's, is it called Truth or Dare? Where you have been written something, so you either do that something or you are washed or you are done what. And we end up unwinding, we end up relieving the pressures that we have, and you see people now are opening up. Unapata mtu anakuambia, by the way, Roslyn, that day ulinifanyia hivi na sikufurahia. And so like we just let out.
It's more like the same concept.
And then we also buy gifts for each other. We'll be told buy a gift not exceeding 500 so that everybody has a gift of the same amount level. So and I saw it really helps in relieving some of the stresses and depressions and also employees who have been affected by, let's say, alcoholism. They're taken to rehab at the employer's cost. Like rehab 3 months. Not just sanction.
Yeah.
Also
supportive system.
Yeah.
Can I take those as your parting shots? Because we are clearly out of time.
My parting shot is one. We have.
You still have a parting shot?
We have to.
You still have a
because I am very passionate about work-life integration. I have been a victim. I have suffered. But for me, my parting shot is